Hello there, everybody. Happy Sunday, and welcome to this week's edition of On Cloud43, where we just take our time, talk in depth about the forecast, and nerd out a little bit, of course, over the weather. Since I only get 2.5 minutes during our on-air newscasts, this is a great opportunity to ask any questions and just explain in depth at my very own pace, which can often be very, very slow and very detailed, just exactly what's going on. So there's going to be a lot, of course, to cover here. Everything from storms today to some big changes heading into the next week, and some of it influenced to a degree by Erin, but there are some other factors too, which of course we'll delve into. I'll dilly-dally a little bit more, give a few more people some time to join, but say hello if you're here right now and let us know how your Sunday is going. Had a good weekend. Started with a nice little concert over in Philly on Friday, seeing My Chemical Romance. Alice Cooper was an opener, which was, oh my goodness, so incredible. Their guitarist, I loved it. Oh my goodness, everything about it. And then, of course, seeing My Chem finally again, and possibly for the last time. That was just incredible. So hopefully everybody's had a really good Sunday, a really good weekend, leading to a good Sunday. It was a little stormy in spots. But fortunately, heading into the week ahead, of course, things are going to be much quieter. You'll notice temperatures are cooler, a lot of clouds, low rain chances though. I don't think we're going to see rain to the effect that some of us have managed to see this afternoon. A couple spots got some storms yesterday, but most of us have really just been on the dry side until, of course, today probably brought a little bit more. Hi, Jeff. There we go. We got some folks jumping in finally. Eileen. Hi, Eileen. There we go. Sometimes you just know if you start talking, eventually people start jumping in here. But yes, a nice cooler week ahead. Spotty light rain chances, though. And then finally starting to look a little bit more like summer towards the end of the week. And yes, Erin is having its influence on this. The cooler days, if you want to call it that, where temperatures for the most part here run maybe 5 to 7 degrees or so below average at their lowest anyway, or I guess highest deviation, but lowest as far as your high temperatures go. And then we start to pivot back towards your typical summer. And there is some humidity relief on the way. It was definitely icky out there, for lack of better words. I mean, it still is icky. I'm using it in past tense because I'm inside now with some air conditioning and it just feels amazing. But we do turn cooler. The cold front that brought some of these showers and storms to our area this afternoon and evening, that's going to head out of here, of course. It stalls to our south, though, because it's going to run into Erin coming from the south, heading to the north. So yes, it's going to have some implications for our forecast, but none that's going to be problematic. Of course, you might remember if you joined my live stream last Sunday, there was a little bit of angry ranting about social media alarmists making a big deal about this storm while it was still coming off the coast of Africa, and truly when it was just forming. And this ultimate path of the storm just goes to show, buyer beware, man. Don't enable these people. Scroll on by. Fact check first. Share, like, comment later, because it just feeds them. But anyways, we get clouds and some stray showers out of it at best. Now, this isn't just Erin by itself. I'll show you and tell you more about how the entire big picture pieces are going to come into play with that. And we've got some lower humidity, too, to come along with it. Thank goodness. Now, here is a look at where we're at the moment. We are, of course, looking at a cold front that I mentioned moments ago. Here it is, continuing to move through. High pressure will build in behind it, help draw in some lower humidity air. Monday will be our transition day for that, knocking the heat and the higher humidity out of here. And keeping any storms like we saw today and the couple that we managed to see pop up yesterday, keeping those kinds of storms at bay. But like I said, there might be a couple stray showers here to talk about. Jason, you popped in just in time. Depending on the delay here between me receiving your question and me speaking, I might have just answered your question for you. You say you were just wondering if we will have any more rain, like an inch or more after today. It doesn't look likely until next weekend, mostly Sunday. Sunday is looking like the best bet. We can't rule out Saturday right now, but yeah, as far as any good rain like what we saw in some spots today, Unfortunately, today was the best that we were going to do for at least the next 5 days or so, more than likely 6. Little bit of rain here, maybe a spot shower, a little drizzle in spots depending on where you live in the days to come, but not like today. So we still have some showers and some storms moving through, but the worst of the rumbles pretty much almost out of here. You can see them, and here we'll zoom in. We'll take a little look for our friends down in Lancaster County. I will pause this, and we'll zoom in and just take a closer view here. Can I zoom in, please? That's my zoom tool. There we go. There we go. Sometimes technology likes to act slow. But yes, down in southern Lancaster County, where not too long ago, I believe it was later in the 4 o'clock hour and during the 5 o'clock hour, we had some storms going through. I believe they all came to a close by 6, but there were some damage reports from it. I'll show you that, but now you are getting some more rain. You can see the lightning strikes, so there have been some recent lightning bolts being detected, of course. It was some loud thunder. While I was having dinner at home before I came back here, I heard quite a few boomers for sure here in York County. So they've definitely been a little nasty for sure. A little nasty pants there. But as you can see behind these bits right here, oh, you can't see my cursor. Let me use my trusted pointer. Where's my trusted pointer? There he is. But once we get past these bits, it's just some spotty showers, and I think we'll continue to quiet down through the night. But like I mentioned, there have been some storm reports coming in parts of Lancaster County where there has been some wind damage. So, I mean, if you live in those areas, obviously it's probably not coming as a shock to you because some of those storms, I mean, seeing them on radar, they did blow up quite nasty and dump some good amount of rain too. We'll talk rainfall totals. I believe that's what's next. The estimated 1 hour estimate, or past 24-hour estimated rainfall amounts. So it does include anything from today. And here is the look. We'll zoom in here. Let me get my zoom in tool. And some of these pockets where you're seeing these brighter greens and some of these yellows, that's where an inch at least, maybe as much as an inch and a half has come down. And obviously this is needed rain for the spots that have gotten this because we have just been parched, man. We have gone from one extreme to another, and now it would appear we're trying to pivot back to that. And by the extremes, I mean dry to too wet, and now back to dry. And I believe I mentioned this a little bit too last Sunday, if memory serves me correctly. But yes, I mean, we've certainly gotten some nice soakings. Pretty intense here. And then we've got some spots too, a lot of areas in northern Franklin County, parts of southwestern Perry, a good portion of Cumberland County, at least close to an inch or so. It's all needed rain. And fortunately, all the storms today were progressive, so we weren't seeing any slow-moving storms that were just sitting and dumping rain. So fortunately, there were no flash flood warnings to come out of it today. I believe there was one yesterday in southern Franklin County, if memory serves me correctly. But I wasn't really checking weather too much yesterday because I was traveling home and then, unpacking, playing catch up, getting ready for the week ahead. You know what that rush is like, folks, when just trying to fit a whole lot in a whole little time. Oh, Jason, you said in Richfield you had a tree got hit by and caught on fire with a power pole. Oh, man. Did that blow up a transformer or anything? I'll never forget the time that happened to me. Well, not to me personally, but happened a little bit down the way. I remember hearing a really loud crack of thunder, and then it was like this huge bright lightning bolt. I didn't actually see it. I was sitting in my room though, so I remember just how bright it was and how loud it was. And then I heard something that sounded like an explosion, and I could see the transformer on fire and the trees behind my house. I mean, I lived in a bunch of row homes growing up, so it was like very frightening to see that. I remember shouting for my mom. We had lost power too, by the way. Obviously, that was one of the transformers, I guess, that helped power us, but that's what that makes me think of. Oh, ew, there's somebody posting gross stuff. Okay, we're gonna ban and delete this. No fun, Nancy. Yeah, no, this is not the platform for this, Alex. Go do and say gross stuff elsewhere. I am a professional and I demand respect as a result, and if I don't get respect, well, goodbye, for lack of better words here. That's really gross. Hopefully you don't talk to your mama or your grandma, nonetheless, with language like that. I believe it's called OnlyFans if you're into that stuff. Anywho, moving on. But yeah, I mean, that's just, ooh, crazy. But yeah, hopefully everybody's safe and, the damage was just, trees down, hopefully no serious property damage. Nothing that I have seen come in other than some trees and wires down. It doesn't sound like any homes were damaged, fortunately, at least from what's come in so far. We'll keep you updated and keep you posted. We sent a photographer out to go check out some of the stuff that we heard about earlier. Anyways, so after tonight, it's going to be much quieter into the early portion of next week and a lot drier, but also a lot less humid. Take a look at these dew point numbers. The higher the number, the stickier it is. 70s, that is your summertime slop, where the air feels thick, it's icky, the air you can wear, the frizz machine, whatever you want to call it. Throw in all of those descriptors, and that is exactly what this is. 70s are usually, we can see some high 70s in this area, but high 70s are usually the worst it gets when we're in that summertime muck. Low to mid 70s is pretty typical, but it also helps give the juice to those storms to bring those intense downpours. We'll be taking all of that down, though, in the days to come, so there is some relief coming our way. It's not going to be as long of a stretch as we experienced the first week of August. Oh my goodness, that was just so refreshing. Caitlin, you had thunderstorms here, are there too today? Where do you live, Caitlin, if you don't mind me asking? And if you don't want to be too specific, you can just name your county or near somewhere you're near. You don't need to give me your address or anything crazy like that. I'm not a stalker, I swear. Just curious to know. But yes, higher dew points, yucky. The lower numbers, though, where you see these brown colors, that's drier, more comfortable air. That's going to be slipping in with that area of high pressure that I pointed out to you. So we got some nice big changes. And hopefully some welcome changes coming our way, although I wish I could throw a little bit more rain in with us. But, this tropical system is going to be a miss, as expected. Rain is not going to come out of it. Dew point numbers, though, they'll be coming down. It looks like this model, too, refreshed. It looked like it was going to take a little bit longer for some of that lower humidity air to seep in. This model has refreshed since I looked at it a little earlier on. I want to say it was maybe 4 or 5 o'clock. 4 or 5 o'clock or so when I did. A little bit more optimistic. I'm not going to complain about it. That lower humidity air can come in as quickly as it wants. So we likely don't get dew points dropping down into the high 50s. We might in our northernmost spots, like northern Mifflin, northern Dauphin, and whatnot. Think about as far north in our little 10-county area as it reaches. But this is pretty good. For August, this is good. We can do better sometimes, and we're starting to get into that point in time, climatologically speaking, mid to late August, where we can get some more prolonged humidity breaks now. At least more than not. So it's good. September's right around the corner, but as we know, it can still be pretty hot sometimes and still pretty humid. Before I move on to hurricane stuff, I see Jason has commented again. You had a report about a tractor trail. Oh, I heard about that in Center County. It flipped over. Yes, I heard about that because it was so dangerous. Yes, that was, oh my goodness. And that just, when the rain just comes down so hard all of a sudden and, maybe they have to stop suddenly and they're not ready for it. Obviously, we don't know what the exact circumstances are, but sometimes you just run into one quick, intense storm, and that's all it is. In the wintertime, it could be that one snow squall that's shutting down I-80, parts of I-80 for hours. Just goes to show this is why, we try our best to keep you as updated and up to date, I should say, as possible here. But now pivoting to Erin, because there is going to be a little bit of influence from Erin as far as our forecast is concerned. We're not getting anything direct from Erin. There will be no rain, there will be no wind, no landfall, nothing to that effect. But sometimes hurricanes, as they come from wherever they're coming from, they can slow down, interact with, enhance features that are already big players in our weather and kind of shift things. This is another reason why if you are somebody's backyard Joe and Sally Six Packs backyard weather page, and you're showing something from like 10 days out of a hurricane hitting Florida or somewhere in the Gulf or even hanging off of Cape Cod, like one of the ones I saw. Yes, shame on you for posting that without showing all the other possibilities that did not, the numerous other possibilities that did not have that result. Sorry, I digress. Can we tell that I'm just so tired of this? But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. None of this is actually what's going to happen. And it's a shame. It's a shame. I get that it got messy, but I wish there was a way to report these kinds of posts and get them taken down, because they are alarmist, they are of no value, they are hype, and very often more often than not, they are not right. Even the essence of them aren't always right. I mean, and it happens in the wintertime when we're sharing storms. And I don't even think it's good enough anymore. I think a lot of them try to wash their hands of all blame and accountability by saying, oh, this is just a forecast. We're not saying this is going to happen. I'm sorry, that's not good enough. It's just not good enough anymore. If you're not going to add context, show the other possibilities when this is 8, 9, 10 plus days out, it's not good enough. It's irresponsible. That's my angry rant for this Sunday. And yeah, I mean, we all need to be better consumers of what we see online. And it can be, it's so easy to hit a like or the share button. But we gotta start thinking before we like and we share these things. Because this is somebody, a lot of these folks, I don't want to say they all are, but a lot of these folks are people who really don't know much. The ones who have weather backgrounds or have taught themselves weather, whatnot. I mean, I would say equally shameful, because you should know better. And like I said, I don't think it absolves you to say this is not a forecast. This is just one model. Because you're not showing all the other models and the percentage of all the other models that might be showing a different result. And the average person doesn't understand that, because they don't look at these. They rely on us to let them know that, and that's why it's irresponsible. Oh my goodness, it is. It's like going into surgery and a doctor showing you the worst case outcome. There's always risks when it comes to surgeries. Let's be real here. Nothing's ever 100%. And then, making somebody think this doomsday result's going to happen to them, and then it makes them not want to get the surgery, instead of showing the, thousands upon thousands of people that might have had a successful surgery. That's like the equivalent of it in the meteorology world, and why I just despise it. And I am getting so jaded by it year after year, man. Can you tell? I'm so angry. I'm so angry. It's not very often I'm angry. But this stuff, it needs to stop. And the only way we can stop it is by thinking before we like, share, comment, interact. Because a lot of these pages too, they'll get hundreds of shares, and they're monetized pages. Full disclosure, my page is monetized too. But there's still responsibility that has to come with this. And when these pages get hundreds and thousands of shares, they're doing it because they're making money off of doing it. If we don't enable it by contributing to it, they won't make money off it. It's not worth it. They probably won't do it anymore. Like, that's the thing. We have the power in our hands. And, we all just, and I'm not saying that's any of you who are watching right now, obviously, but it's just, we all need to be better consumers of information. In this world of social media, where a lie can spread like wildfire, and then good luck trying to undo it and set the record straight. It's just, we need to, it's horrible, but it feels like we always have to check first. Always have to check first. Look at other sources, ones that you trust. Even question the ones you trust. If you ever question me, I won't get mad about it. I will certainly tell you everything, and I will tell it to you straight. And, these folks, they don't do it. They just share for that clickbait, to get those likes, to get those shares, to get that interaction. That's all they care about, and it's just so frustrating. I see some of these random, I never hear of them, but they all just keep popping up in my Facebook feed, and it's like, I don't want to see it because it makes me like this. Anyway, we'll move on to happier thoughts now. That's the end of my rant. Hopefully, I didn't turn too many people away with that angry rant. I could scream, but my voice, in case, I don't know if it's obvious, my voice is still a little hoarse from the concert a few nights ago. So maybe that's the only reason why I feel like I have to stop, because I don't think I could keep going. Woo! On that note, I did need a little bit of liquid to help there. But anyway, oh, here we go. Brad, you said, oh, Peach Bottom. And yes, Jason, I did have a safe trip. I'm sorry, hold on. She will have a safe trip from New York on Tuesday. Yeah, your wife should have a safe trip. There's no reason why not. The hurricane will have nothing to do with traveling to New York and back. And it doesn't even matter where in New York. Brad, you got those storms in Peach Bottom? Yes. Yes, there was one round and then the second round. Irving, I know, deep breath. Practice breathing. The problem is I can never remember the breathing in the moment and then after the fact, you know. But I'm glad you agree. Yes. Brad says that was earlier before the cold front. Okay, so you're talking about the first round. Yeah, those were some nasty storms for sure. And then yes. It shouldn't be too, I don't think it's going to be rainy in New York City. I wasn't looking specifically. But I'll take a look. It'll be cloudy and probably a little dreary. There might be like a spot shower or two, but no big rain that'll ruin her trip on Tuesday. I've got a Futurecast and a Wide View, so we'll look at that together. So hold that thought. And then Caitlin, how bad will thunderstorms be? The thunderstorms, they're quieting down now, so I really don't think we're going to get, you might get a stronger one or two, but I think some of these storms we got out of the way, that's the worst of it. So as far as hurricanes go now, we are on Erin, of course. We knew about Erin thanks to these crazy alarmist social media pages posting about it just as it was coming off the coast of Africa as an itty-bitty tropical wave. Now, it did become a Category 5 hurricane, and since then it has been undergoing a eye wall replacement cycle and might re-intensify a little bit as the eye wall widens a bit. Tonight. We'll see how that turns out, but it is forecast in the latest National Hurricane Center advisory that they put out at 5 p.m. It's not a Category 5 anymore, though, but I did put that 5 there, the little spinny hurricane icon, just because it did reach Category 5. Erin, we checked off a lot of boxes here. Not only were we the first hurricane of the season, but we were the first major hurricane of the season, and now we are the first Cat 5 of the season. So we're an overachiever, Erin. Good for you. I'm glad we're staying out to sea, though. We don't need to overachieve in any other ways. Definitely not. I think that is enough for now. We don't want any problems. So with that said, you know, one of the things I said last week, if you weren't with this, I just want to say it is so normal for storms starting in late July and through about maybe the first week or two of October for these storms to originate as waves coming off the coast of Africa. They're called Cabo Verde storms because that's where they originate. They usually pass either to the north or to the south, the Cabo Verde Islands off the coast of Africa. And this is a time of year where we really start to see hurricane frequency go up. It's just, I mean, it's something. This is nothing new, and this is why these pages annoy me. I'll try not to get on another angry rant here, but it annoys me because where's the context? This is normal. This is a favorable area this time of year. We are here, climbing up here as far as hurricane and tropical storm development per 100 years. It's nothing new. And then the peak, of course, of hurricane season, just for some reference, obviously the season begins on June 1st for the Atlantic Basin. The peak of hurricane season is September 10th. That is the climatological peak. And then it starts to come down until ultimately it ends on the 30th. So, you know, this is normal. We will see more storms. I'm sure it won't be the last, and it won't be the last to take that track. But, you know, just make sure that... And I know a lot of you aren't doing this, but it's just, you know, it's just so hard to fight the alarmism, to fight the panic. We do this because we want to keep people informed so they can prepare and not panic. It is literally the antithesis of everything so many of us forecasters do this for. It just is, and it's just so frustrating. But here's the latest on Erin. You can see, obviously, not a very well-defined eye anymore. Has weakened a little bit, but this is all normal for storms that go through eye wall replacement cycles. And, ooh, we've got an 8 o'clock advisory. That would be correct. I did check the latest. Yes, and it has winds of 125 miles an hour, so that means it's still at Cat 3 strength. It is continuing to move towards the Bahamas. It is moving away from San Juan and Hispaniola, the island of Hispaniola, and it's going to continue to curve away from the Bahamas. Now, they are going to get some rough surf. They won't be without impacts, and I believe, and as long as they haven't upgraded them, I know there are tropical storm watches. Let me see. They might be warnings now, actually. Yes, they are warnings. They should be. Tropical storm warnings. For some of the outermost islands. So roughly these guys, I'm eyeballing it here, but roughly these guys right here. And so far, no new additional ones have been included, although it wouldn't shock me if, of course, Bermuda gets included in that with the path this storm's going to take. But fortunately, Bermuda will be spared the worst impacts as well. So look at this guy go. Whoa, you mean to say, wait a minute, it stays out to sea? I mean, this is a good path. This is a path we want these storms to take because they obviously don't affect anybody. So this storm, even as it remains at Category 3 strength and weakens to Category 2 strength, the center of this storm is not going to make landfall. In fact, tropical storm force winds aren't even going to reach land at all, aside from maybe some of those islands in the Bahamas that I showed you moments ago, but that's really it. This is going to continue to curve away, and this is the best outcome. Now, it's going to interact with some features like an area of high pressure and the cold front that's moving through now. In fact, it's going to stall the front to our south, interact with it, and then ultimately get kicked out. Here, I'll make sure you can see my hand. Get kicked out to the east and not bother anybody. And I'm going to show you the spaghetti plots as well to show all of the model consensus on this. So if you're going to post one hurricane here saying, Florida, look out, we don't know what's going to happen yet, you better be showing all of these too. Have I made my point yet, guys? Do I need to get angry and yell some more? But yes, so, I mean, aside from like there's like one outlier here. I don't even know what model that is with the labels on it. One outlier that brings it closer. So, I mean, at this point, it's pretty much like a 95% chance, if you wanted to put a number on it, a 95% chance that not even the Carolinas or Bermuda get clipped by this at this point, with the way this is going to curve. All good news all around. And, you know, this was the message that we tried to say. Even if a hurricane nails it far out in advance, with the way deterministic forecasting is, you have to ask the question, was this really skill or was this a fluke or just luck or whatever you want to call it, serendipity, whatever. I lean more towards the latter and not the former. Because, again, you got to think of all the times that they're wrong, all the times that they wobbled along the way and whatnot before coming back to that solution that they had in the day 8-9 range. So there's just so much that goes into this, and I truly wish we would just stop with the alarmist posts, man. I wish there was a way to report them and truly get them banned, but I have lots of gripes about how Facebook does lots of things. I'd rather they take care of the bots first, of course, like the disgusting one we had to, you know, block earlier on. But hey, look at this beautiful image of Erin from yesterday. That's when it blew up to Cat 5, and oh my goodness, that eye wall. I mean, this is a little bit of a nerding out moment here because I'm looking at this and like, look at, oh man, you can see the thunderstorm clusters. Look at those thunderstorms bubbling up. Yeah, oh man, those clouds just hitting the top. They can't go any further, and then, oh man, those thunderstorm clusters, it's wonderful. That's the weather nerd in me. It's not forecast to get back to Cat 5 strength, but Cat 4 is certainly not out of the question as long as it really is going through an eyewall replacement cycle, and it does so tonight, and does so the way the National Hurricane Center thinks. So the only real impact here to U.S. mainland is going to be higher waves. If you are vacationing anywhere along the East Coast this week, if it's in the Southeast United States, so we'll say roughly, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Monday, Tuesday are the days to watch. Wednesday, Thursday is going to be mid-Atlantic-ish, and then Thursday, Friday, Northeast Nova Scotia-ish, give or take. I'm about to walk you through it, though. So this shows estimated wave heights. So these wave heights are going to obviously get higher as the storm tracks closer in the next couple of days. I shall play this through. Oh no, did I not do the pause points? Oh, I didn't throw in the pause points. But you'll notice, alright, we're going to have to watch this quickly. Silly me. Look at this. Whoa, whoa. The worst case scenario was basically 10 to 15 foot wave heights for the mid-Atlantic. Maybe some getting close to 20 feet for the Carolinas. But again, surf is going to be rough. Rip currents are going to be a high risk. It's not going to be anything more than that, though. Maybe a little extra breezy, but even the center of the storm, the tropical storm force winds are not going to be close enough to land to, do anything more than that. This is, for the alarmists, I'm so happy to be coming back a week later saying, yeah, this was a nothing burger, guys. Good job. And I like a real burger, because a real burger is always better than a nothing burger. Anywho. I say this like they're here listening to me. I really wish they were. Probably be getting under their skin, and I don't even care. They deserve it, because it's just irresponsible and just does such a disservice to people who just want to know. Oh, yeah, Brad. Rock you like a hurricane. Yeah, I love that song. That's a goodie. That's an oldie but a goodie. So, what does this mean for us? We'll put all of it together now. Futurecast. Hey, Futurecast is always my favorite. Here's the front. Right about here. What's going to happen is the front stalls down here or so. And then what it's going to do when it stalls, we're going to get an east flow. High pressure is going to set up here. High pressure is going to bring us, let's see, where's my drawing tool? Here we go. We're going to draw pictures, friends. We're getting fancy-pantsy. High pressure right here. High pressure, east-southeast flow. East-southeast flow. East flow brings clouds off the Atlantic. So that's what we're looking at here. Humidity will at least come down, though, so it's going to feel better. Right about here, front is stalled. So Erin's going to want to go into the front. Except it's not. It's going to interact and curve that way. And that's why nothing's going to happen. I did mention last Sunday that we saw a dip called an upper level trough, which often does bring a front, which often do steer these systems, which is why 10 days out is way too early to make a call about landfalls, and certainly another reason to the 20 million I've probably listed already not to post one model's deterministic forecast 10 plus days out or any amount of time. Truthfully, anything. There's a reason why the National Hurricane Center only does a 5-day cone and not a 7-day cone and not a 10-day cone. And it's because skill past 5 days drops drastically, and even the 3 to 5 days can have some big changes depending on the situation and the big picture players in the weather setup. So man, I could write a book. I could write a book. Call it The Angry Rants of a Meteorologist. Something like that. I'll come up with a more clever name. I'm never good at coming up with clever names on the fly like this. I'm like one of the worst people at doing it. But yes, so what happens here is high pressure, east flow. We keep the clouds. We might get a spritz or a stray shower. It's very possible, actually, Tuesday morning we start off a little drizzly because we'll have more of a true east wind direction. and that can help build up moisture in the low levels of the atmosphere, enough to get haze, fog, some drizzle, and that's likely what's going to happen there. With that said, you could get a stray shower, but like I said, no big rain out of this. I mean, the stalled front right about here, if I'm just eyeballing it from the clouds and where the rain's setting up. There's another one trying to piggyback behind it, but, you know, it just takes one thing to slow everything up, and that one thing slowing everything up is Erin coming from the south, ultimately making its turn because of the front. And of course, it's not just the cold front. There are two big old areas of high pressure. The Bermuda high weakened, and that's going to allow a curve right in between with the path that it's taking, and then a strong ridge of high pressure in the western portion of the nation, building the heat in there. So that's actually helping give it a path to curve. And the indications, I mean, with those big picture pieces for the weather pattern, were very apparent last Sunday. So again, the alarmists that kept posting and kept big old caps, Erin has formed! Ooh. Anyways, here we are, more than a week later, depending on who the culprit was and when they posted it. Moving on. So there is some indication. Now, if Erin curves more to the east than expected, it might allow a little bit more by way of clearing Wednesday, but that also sets us up for the next cold front, which could bring some more showers, maybe a couple rumbles of thunder right now. Right now, I'm just seeing some clearing happening, and then again, maybe just a few stray showers around. I mean, this is really going to be the extent of it. Notice, a lot of us, oh so dry. Let me just scribble some more just for effect, guys. I'm having fun with this drawing tool right now. Way too much fun. I'm like a 2-year-old that opened a box of crayons for the first time and chose not to put them in their mouth and try to eat them first. Anyways, but yes, so, I mean, we'll be below average still as far as temperatures go. A little more breaks of sun are possible. I did go a little heavier on the clouds in the Wednesday, Thursday time frame, just because this could have some tweaking to it. But no day here is going to be a washout. The humidity, it'll go up a notch Wednesday for sure. It won't be as bad as today. I don't think we will get to the muggies again until later Friday, and it might even take until Friday night, Saturday for that to happen. Usually when you have something big that the models are locking onto, once that feature is out of the way, then the models can catch on a little bit better to everything afterwards that follows. So there might be some tweaking Friday, Saturday, Sunday's forecast. So you can get a big shift sometimes. We'll see. But right now, I think just, you know, our next cold front's looking like it's going to be Sunday. And it does look like that's when the humidity comes back and gets a little nasty. This might be a little underpredicted, actually. Oops, that's not my coloring tool. This guy is. Click the wrong one, guys. Sorry. But this is where we're looking at, you know, maybe this is a little higher, the humidity. This, we could get this nice little dip here. It does go up a little bit again Wednesday. I did mention that. Again, this just depends on some subtle shifts in where our next big players are moving as far as your weather features go that we like to follow and forecast for. But, I mean, you'll notice Monday, here's that nice humidity dip. Tuesday's going to be amazing. Amazing. Even if I get a stray shower, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not. Those are tears of joy if I do. I should check on some of the comments. I've been neglecting the comments. Oh, yes, Katrina. Oh, I think, is it today or yesterday, I believe, was the anniversary of Camille. I believe it was 1969, maybe 67. But yes, that was a Gulf storm, though. That was one of the 5 most intense hurricanes to make landfall. Where it was a Cat 5 strength or a very intense hurricane where it did. We've had many strong hurricanes, but a fair amount of them have weakened before they've moved inland. Camille was not one of those. I believe when winds were reassessed, oh my goodness, I don't want to draw facts from my head if I'm not 100% sure of them, but I remember that they did do a reanalysis and actually think that Camille was a little bit stronger at landfall than they initially thought. And then, of course, the more recent one, oh shoot, it hit Florida. It was back in, was it 2018? Was it Michael? Was it Michael? No. Oh gosh, I hate when something's on the tip of my tongue and I literally just saw it the other day and I can't recall the information. My apologies, guys. But, oh yeah, you did mention, there you go, Camille. Wilma and Camille. Oh my gosh, Wilma was a monster, man. I remember Wilma. That was a 2005 one, right? Yeah, Wilma was 2005. That was the first record-breaking year. The year we thought couldn't be surpassed, and then, like, oops, we did it, like, 5 years later. Was it 5 years later? No, it was 5 years ago. Just kidding. About 5 years ago. Caitlin, no, we won't have any severe thunderstorms tomorrow and Tuesday. The weather is going to be so much quieter then. I am so happy to see. Whenever you race, you can see a vapor trail coming off the top wings because of the cold temps, and that's just a fun fact. Be careful there. You don't want people thinking that there are chemtrails caused by racing down here. Oh, man. Oh, let's unopen that can of worms and get those people going. Oh, man. I don't have a death wish today. I'm just going to keep talking. I don't feel like being chewed alive just yet today. But anyway, high temperatures are going to look so much nicer because of this. Thankfully, we get a little bit of a break from today's heat and the high humidity. Will be running below average. Tuesday, I think, is going to be the coolest day because we have a true east wind that day. We probably are pretty stubborn. They'll probably be the most stubborn day with the cloud cover. Wednesday, Thursday, I have them both at 79 for now, but just depending on how quickly Erin hooks away, there might be a little more clearing, and it is possible that we can do, 80 or low 80s, like an 81 or an 82. But we should get back to near seasonal by Friday. By that point, Erin is long gone. I mean, it's even far enough east that it's past Nova Scotia, so there's really going to be no impact there at all. It's just back to normal for us. No subtle little influences here. But hey, Erin slowed things up a little, stopped the front, stopped the return of some warmth, interacts, pulls the front. I mean, we're good. We're flying high here. In the meantime, though, temperatures tonight will continue to dry out. There still could be a few evening showers, rumbles. Those should be coming to an end now. Temperatures will drop down into the low and mid 60s. A lot of clouds, though. We'll be pretty hefty on the clouds Monday, although I do think we can get some breaks of sunshine, so it's not going to be all gloomy overcast. I think, though, the farther north you are, that's where you're going to have your best chance. So your Lewistown, your Lycans, places like that, that's where you're going to have the best chance of getting those breaks, of course. And then temperatures, obviously, mid-high 70s. A nice little reprieve, for sure. And here's a check again as we close things out with the weather impacts 7-day forecast. Stray showers, again, don't rule that out Monday. There might be a spritz or two somewhere. No big organized rain like we saw today. No storms. I think you've got a better chance for some stray showers Tuesday, especially because I think we can start with some morning drizzles, some haze, some fog. And then a few spotty showers Wednesday. It depends on how quickly, again, Erin moves away and if it allows the next system, the next cold front to come in maybe a little faster. This might be more for the northern tier of the state, though, than for us. We'll keep an eye on it, but it's still not going to be a whole lot of rain. We're talking, okay, maybe, like, if I were to put pops on this, it would be 20 tomorrow, 20 Tuesday. We tend to use an icon with a raindrop when we're at 30% at least, and Wednesday is the 30% as far as I see it. Thursday, a couple stray showers. If we get enough sun and the humidity increases a teeny bit more, maybe we get a rumble, but it won't be like today. And then Friday and the weekend, back to some humidity. Not as bad as today, but enough, I think, by Saturday we'll be calling it muggy. Could be a couple stray showers and storms. And then our next cold front is looking slated for Sunday so far. There might be some tweaks to this, of course. There often can be in the extended, but that would be our next best chance for some storms. Any other questions here as I'm wrapping things up? We start with the 7-day, we end with the 7-day. I figure, just give you the 7-day right away since this is such a intended to be a long live stream. I'm not going to hold it out for you, and then I'll explain and we'll talk all the fun weather stuff. Kind of the way I formatted it, and I really do like this kind of format with it, I have to say. I have really been enjoying it. This is the 3rd time we're doing this. I think I finally worked out some of the rough kinks that we had the last couple times I did it. Yeah, bye Adam, have a good night, have a great week, enjoy the cooler and less humid air, and same to you, Jason. Hope your wife has a good and safe trip, of course. Hopefully she has a great time and whatnot. Better than, 90-degree weather in New York City. That's for sure, what she's going to have on Tuesday. And, yes. Oh, Tropical Depression Beryl on this day. Oh, wow. Beryl's, that name's been used quite a few times, too, actually. I feel like that's one that has not been retired yet and comes every so often. Let's see. Alrighty. Thank you guys for joining this, though, tonight. I'll see you next Sunday, of course. We'll see what there will be in the world of weather to talk about. What's fun, interesting, exciting. Maybe it's something tropical. I don't know. Have they been posting about the next wave yet? Okay, I had to get one more jab in there. Have they been? I don't know. Anywho, everybody have a good night. Great week ahead. I'll see you on Fox 43 News at 10 tonight if you join us here in South Central PA. Goodbye.